everyone. Welcome to This Day. Today is Wednesday and it is September 16th. We have a couple of meetings to tell you about this morning. We have the Laguna Woods morning traffic hearings, and that'll be at 9 a.m. And then we have the Laguna Woods afternoon traffic hearings, and that'll be at 1 p.m. And if you would like to follow along on those, you can go to lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings. Now, on our show today, we have Harvard Eye Associates Dr. Hovannessian is going to talk about smoky eyes, and he's not talking about makeup. And then we have the Orange County Sheriff's Department, where we have Sergeant Breckner, who's going to talk about thefts at the grocery store and online and phone scams. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our weather. Our weather today is looking nice, and it is clearing, which is very, very nice to hear that the smoke is not going to be quite as bad. Let's take a look at our temperatures. We have 88.65 today, sunshine tomorrow, 87.70. Friday, 88.66, and Saturday, yay, we start a cooling down period of 83.62, and then Sunday, a lovely 80.63. And our air quality today is moderate, so things are clearing up, and it's going to look a lot better in terms of clearing as well as breathing. So if you wanted to go outside, it is looking a lot better than yesterday. Okay, our sunrise this morning was 6:35, and our sunset will be at 6:56. And look at how close Christina got to this little snail. That is a beautiful photo. Thank you so much for sending that in. That is by Christina Somerset. If you have a lovely photo, please send it to us here at Laguna Woods Village TV at gmail.com. When we return, we will have Harvard Eye, so stay tuned.
At Harvard Eye, we're so happy to be open again to see you for all your medical and surgical eye care. We're taking great care to protect everyone from COVID-19 by seeing fewer patients, spacing out chairs in our lobby, sanitizing our office constantly, and doing much more. The world is changing a lot, but what hasn't changed is we're honored by your trust and confidence and committed to keeping you safe. We can't wait to see you.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Dr. Hovannessian, who is here with Harvard Eye Associates. Thank you so much for being with us. How are you?
I'm fabulous. It's great to see you. Yeah, I was just saying how nice it is that you're coordinated between your dress and your the painting behind you.
And the painting, yes. Well, I'm crying today. Well, thank you so much. And we were talking a little bit before we went on, and you know, the haze and the smoke has been really horrendous for a lot of people, not necessarily just because they can't breathe very well and now we're wearing masks, so it's even worse, but also for our eyes. And I would have to say that my eyes they're tearing a lot rather than being dry. So there are multiple things that could be happening, right?
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. It is just crazy and bad for our eyes right now. Fire season, you know, comes at this time of year when the air is starting to get drier as the weather cools. And so we end up having the assault of dryness of our eyes on top of this particulate matter that's floating around. And then on top of it, sometimes we get all the wind blowing, we get Santa Anas that blow from the desert, and then we get all the allergy producing stuff in the air. So it's over. Our eyes are suffering right now.
Man. Well, so dry eye is a problem for a lot of people now, and then you mentioned also throughout the year.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What actually is causing dry eye?
You know, it's a frustrating problem, and it's body chemistry, in a word, is what causes it. But certainly environmental factors play a role, and age is probably the biggest risk factor. So, you know, your odds of having dry eye are equal to your age in a percentage. So if you're 60 years old, you got a 60% chance of having dry eye. And most of us have it at some point in time. And we may not always notice it. We may not always be aware of it. Sometimes the symptom is just that our vision is blurry sometimes and clear other times. Sometimes it feels like our eyes are burning or sensitive. But all of those things cause it. Age, by the way, other things I didn't mention are hormones, medications like high blood pressure medication, some cholesterol medications, and hormonal supplements can also be associated with it.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So very interesting. And then surgeries and things like that can also cause dry eyes, right?
You bet. Other diseases and surgery, it temporarily, will worsen dry eye for most people who undergo eye surgery.
Oh, okay.
Anything that just kind of throws you out of sorts, throws off your body chemistry. And we know that as we get older, there are more and more of those things.
Yeah.
and they make our dry eyes worse, for sure.
So in regards to treating dry eyes, there's a variety of things. And one thing that I do tend to use is a re-wetting solution.
Huh?
So
Yeah.
is that the same thing as an artificial tear?
Yeah, that artificial tear is sort of a commonly used term. Technically, the term for them is lubricant eye drops. If you look on every one at the pharmacy, it'll have, on the package, it'll say in little words, under the name, it'll say lubricant eye drop.
Okay. Okay. So there's a variety of them that, I mean, gosh, you can choose from probably 100 just
There's
at
a
one
whole pile of
location.
them.
So
Yeah.
is there a ranking?
For different people, it's just like skin moisturizers. For different people, different chemistry works better. A couple of general rules. There's two things to think about. One is preservative versus preservative-free. If you're going to take them more than about 4 times a day, it makes sense to go with preservative-free, just so that the preservatives don't cause irritation or sensitivity of their own. So that's one thing to think about. The other thing to think about is how thick they are. So there are some watery tears, and there are more gel drops, and then there's even thicker type gels, and they're usually labeled so you can tell. Sometimes they'll say long-lasting gel relief. So thicker formulations last longer, but they may blur your vision a little bit more. So just you really have to try different things, because even within the non-preserved, let's say the more watery version, try different ones to see what works for you, because what you are sensitive to, what you do well with, is different from the next person.
Okay. On your list, there were a couple that I did recognize, and I didn't know that there were gel type ones. What is the gel made of?
Well, they're different chemistry. Some are made of carboxymethylcellulose, if that means anything to you. Some are made of guar, which is a vegetable product that is gentle on the eyes, but some people might perceive one as being a little more sticky and more blur causing, and other people might say, no, I like that one because it lasts longer for my eyes. So you have to try different things to see what works for your body chemistry.
Do you have samples of stuff? Like if somebody wanted to try something before they went out and bought it?
Yeah, most eye doctors have a pretty good sample of and we get what we get for samples, and we're
Right.
delighted to give them away because we want you to try before you buy. And so ask if you're ever in the office. I mean, we give them away like candy because we want our patients to try them, because they're good for you. They're good for your eyes. They'll never hurt you. Even if you take other medications, they're okay to take. Let's say you take glaucoma medication, just separate it by maybe 5 minutes from your glaucoma medication or other eye meds that you put in.
Some people tend to use, I think, well, we all did way back when, Visine.
Yeah. So Visine is a brand, and they also make some lubricant drops. And so not everything they make is a no-no. Visine, the redness reliever. So remember I said lubricant eye drops? They'll be labeled as redness reliever. Redness relievers in general you want to avoid because they constrict the blood vessels on the eye. But then when they wear off, they dilate with a frenzy, and so your eyes are more red. And so you put in more drops, and then they end up getting more red. And so you end up in this vicious cycle of taking more drops, and it works against you.
Wow.
I'll just say one more thing about that, and we don't have any interest in one brand over another, but there's a newer eye whitener medicine, a little more expensive, from Bausch & Lomb, called Lumify, Lumify. Lumify is probably safe because it's a different type of chemical. It's a medicine we've had for treating glaucoma for a number of years, so we know how safe it is. So it's probably the safest of the eye whitening drops. And they're fine to use once in a while. If you're going to be photographed or you're going on a date, put them in. It's fine. Enjoy life. But don't do it every day or too often.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Now, the next thing that's coming up, a brooder mask, and it looks refreshing.
Yeah. So, Brooder is one company who makes them, and there are others as well. We don't have a preference for one company, but we've had really good success with our patients. So you can go on Amazon and buy a Brooder mask, BRUDER, and it contains fine particles that are like rice that absorb moisture from the air, And then when you heat them in a microwave, so you take this mask and you put it in the microwave for 20 seconds, you place it on your eyes close, and it releases this moist heat that stimulates the glands that produce the oils. We're going to talk about a little bit about the oils in our eyelids, and those are critical to your best defense against whether it's dry eye or irritation from the fire particles that are in the air. So the Bruder mask is a really helpful thing to do. If your eyes ever feel irritated, if you're on screens too much, you know you are. We all are.
You know, we all are.
You can help your eyes feel better with a Bruder mask. And you do it 3-4 times a day. You can't overdose with it just for 4 or 5 minutes. It makes a big difference.
Now you were saying that we're going to go into the tear. Let's talk about the tear chemistry, and then you could go right into the oil, because between oil and water, it seems like your eye is made up of a variety of things.
Yeah, so the tears are made up of a really complex chemistry, that involves oil and water and mucus actually to have a glassy, smooth surface. Remember, our tears are not only important for comfort but also for vision. It's just like a swimming pool. When the surface is smooth, you can see everything in the bottom of the pool. The eye works the same way. When the surface water on the eye is smooth, because you have a healthy, robust tear film, you can see the world clearly, and when it's not, you see very poorly. So one of the commonest conditions is called meibomian gland disease, or oil or lipid deficiency. It's when the oil-producing glands in the eyelids fail to produce thin, watery, oily secretions that help us to see better. And this is what we go to treat when we use a Bruder mask, because it softens those oils. It kind of literally melts some of the thicker secretions, allows them to flow and form that barrier of moisture. It's like an oil slick on the eye that serves as a valuable, protectant for the eye.
Right. If someone was to have surgery on their eye, does that get damaged?
What happens is the glands themselves don't get damaged, but just like surgery is a bit of a shock to your system, it is to the structures that produce the moisture in our eyes, and so they become dry for a time. And for people who have chronic ongoing issues with irritation in their eyes, for whom artificial tears don't work well, we have some other treatments that really work quite well, and one is called LipiFlow. It's an office treatment that involves treating directly those oil-producing glands in the eyelid by applying heat from the inside where the oil-producing glands are, and gentle pressure. Doesn't hurt. It feels almost like a spa treatment. It lasts 12 minutes, and for the patients who go through it, they're sitting back comfortably and they almost feel like nothing happened. But there's a dramatic improvement we often see in the comfort of the eyes as well as the vision that lasts for years in many cases, so that they need fewer eye drops and just feel more comfortable. LipiFlow is not covered by most medical insurances, and so there's out-of-pocket cost. So we use it for people who really are bothered by dry eye, but it's quite effective.
So we're looking at a picture that has this little contraption that goes over your eye. Tell me, what is it? Is it like opening your eye, or what does it do?
Well, the eye is, you can't see that it's open under there, but it is open. But the eye is numb, and this actually doesn't, it touches the eyeball, but not on the sensitive clear part. It touches on the outside areas, and the eye is numb. And so it's very comfortable, even though it looks kind of scary. It provides gentle heat from the inside of the eyelid and gentle pulsation. There's just a light bit of pressure that warms these glands and squeezes them just gently to get the oils to flow. And that seems to kind of restart the oil glands so that they begin to work again when they've been stopped by years of dry eye disease.
Now this shows just one eyeball being done at a time. Is that pretty much the case?
We usually do both eyes at the same time. Most people want to just have it done, and it's only 12 minutes. So they're comfortable during the treatment. As I said, most people describe it as being like a spa treatment.
Yeah, okay. I want to see how that feels.
It's more comfortable than you'd expect. I've actually had it myself.
People are easily falling asleep when this is going on.
Yeah, well, yeah. Some do actually.
Oh, really? Wow. Well,
most are comfortable. Yeah. Yeah.
It's great information.
It's only 12 minutes, so it's not a very long nap, but it's
well, sometimes they say the quick naps are the ones that are most effective.
That's true. That's true.
Well, that's great information. I mean, I'm hoping that people will really, take hold of this, because obviously, like you mentioned, we have so many different things that are toying with our eyesight right now. and the winds haven't even begun. So
Right.
I'm sure that's right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, fire season really is still coming in many ways, and so let's hope that it's a gentle one for us, and that we don't have this terrible particulate matter in the air bothering our eyes. But having all this knowledge is helpful, because the best defense against particles in the air irritating you is a robust, healthy turnover of your tears. So know how to treat dry eye, and you know how to feel better during fire season too.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
It's great seeing you. Thanks, and stay well.
All right, you too. We'll talk to you again.
Look forward to it.
And we'll be right back after this.
It was just a get-together with friends. No big deal. Everybody felt fine. Now, I'm super sick. Everyone is sick. I just wish we had been more careful. It would have been easier than this. So wear a mask. Do what you can outside. Stay 6 feet apart. Because some things you just can't take back.
Do your part to lower the risk.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Sergeant Dennis Breckner, and he is with the Orange County Sheriff's Department, Public Affairs and Community Engagement. And so today we're going to be talking about some things that are very important regarding some theft, as well as some online scams or even phone scams. Well, Sergeant Breckner, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So I am just as guilty as the next person. When I go shopping at the grocery store, I stick my purse right in that little child seat. Tell me about some of the things that people are dealing with right now.
So we've definitely seen an increase in the thefts from grocery store carts. And it's not just that the actual purse itself is being removed from the cart. People are pretty slick and they're quick. And what they're doing is they kind of position themselves a little bit closer to you in the grocery store. You might feel like, hey, this person's getting oddly close. Well, that should concern you. So essentially what they do is they move in closer a little bit at a time, and they wait for you to turn your back on the cart, and then they quickly grab whatever they can out of your purse. Sometimes it's a phone, sometimes it's a wallet. In most cases, it's a wallet. That's what they're going for. And we have seen cases where, literally the suspects are in the store for 35 seconds. They are in the store, they find their target, they move in, they wait for that person to be distracted, even if for a moment, and then it's a quick grab out of the purse, out goes the wallet, and they're gone from the store in a car and likely out to the street within a minute.
And then at what point does the victim realize that they are without their wallet? I'm imagining it's still a long time before they even get to the checkout. Yeah,
if you can imagine, you're in most cases this is happening in the produce section because there's a lot of things and to look at. You can walk a distance from your cart because, hey, the onions are over there. I thought they were right here. Or you have to go get the bag out of the bag dispenser, right? So what ends up happening is you walk away and boom, and the item is removed, and then you continue on your shopping throughout the store. And it can be, if you're in there for an hour, people don't realize until they're at the register. And then even worse, if it's a phone that they took, you may not notice that phone for a while. Right. But in most cases, the victims find out as soon as they get to the register and realize that their wallet is gone. Okay. So in regards to, going to the store, what are some of the things that you recommend, mostly women, I'm sure, do in terms of, what kind of a purse should they be using? Well, definitely if they cannot hold their purse, or a fanny pack or something. I know those have come back and people are wearing those now because they can keep it close. But if they can wear a purse similar to like what you see here, so it something with a strap that they can zip closed, not just those magnet clips. Honestly, those can separate without you even knowing it. But if it's a zipper closed, it makes it a lot more difficult. And what I suggest that you do is, if you can't keep your purse on your person, if you must keep it to the on the cart because you're just it makes it difficult for you to do what you need to do, then at least use like a carabiner clip like this here, and use this clip to attach that strap or some sort of ring to the cart itself. That way, and then seal that purse up. Even if you have to kind of twist it and turn it upside down, so that it just makes it difficult for somebody to come and kind of move in quickly and grab stuff.
Right. You know, I actually am surprised that this is happening more so now, primarily because you think people would be a little more worried about getting close with the COVID. So it's not preventing anyone from theft, right?
That's right. Any one of us that watch the videos, we think, wow, there's no way my wife would allow somebody to get that close. But listen, you're in the grocery store. You're not expecting to become a victim of something. It can happen to any one of us. Right. You're just, not all of us are thinking, that we're going to become a victim at any time. We like to go through life hoping for the best, right? And when you're in the grocery store, you're kind of in your zone. But here's the thing. You've got to pay attention to who's around you. You've got to pay attention to how close people are. If it seems that somebody is getting unusually close, well, then distance yourself. Right. Simply distance yourself. Maybe grab your bag, hold it close to you. That might tell that person, hey, they're on to me, and move on to likely another store. Okay,
well, that's really good advice. Yeah. Now, some things that we were talking about before we came on were in regards to, well, online scams, but more importantly, phone scams, because there's so many of them right now that are going on. I mentioned, there's a warrant out for my arrest kind of a thing, but there's a couple others that are really targeting right at seniors. What are some of those?
So, for a long time, we were getting those Medicare fraud calls where somebody, essentially, they're claiming to be with the Social Security Administration, or they're claiming to be with Medicare, and they simply reach out to seniors, and before today, long ago, that they would use a Social Security number as your Medicare number, and obviously, because of identity theft, that has all been fixed. But they will still call you in an attempt to get your Medicare number and or your Social Security number. And they're swift. What they'll ask you for is, they'll tell you, listen, I want to protect you. I don't want you to give me more information than you're comfortable with. But what I'm going to need from you is the first 3 numbers of your Social Security number. And then the conversation evolves. And what they don't realize is, over a period of time, they're going to then ask for, okay, you know what? Do me a favor. I'm going to start something else here. I'm going to try a different way. I can't seem to find it. What's the last 4 of your social? And so slowly but surely, what they end up doing is they end up giving their entire Social Security number. Wow. And yes, so they're swift. Listen, this is what they do for a living. So if they can be successful, even if only a percentage of the time, well, it's theft. So, it's all a win for them.
So in terms of phone calls, I mean, wouldn't you say the majority of these companies, Medicare, IRS, any of these folks, would normally not phone call you, right?
That's right. Number one, I don't even know that the IRS knows my phone number, let alone are they
everything.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But yes, they are not going to call you. Most agencies like the FBI, like the IRS, they're going to send you a letter in the mail, right? Because they want a tracking history too. They want to know that, hey, this thing was mailed, it was then received. Sometimes it's going to come certified mail, depending on the severity of it. So yes, they're not going to. First of all, we as law enforcement will never call somebody and tell them, hey, you have a warrant out for your arrest. one thing I want to caution your viewers to is be very careful about anything, anybody that is asking you to make payment in the form of a gift card. That should be an absolute red flag. Number one, we as law enforcement, we don't take people into custody and hold them expecting a family member to pay with gift cards in order to get them out. You'd be surprised. I've seen people lose thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Because they think that there is a warrant out for their arrest, or they think that their iPhone has been compromised, and they, in order to make it right, with Apple support, they need to pay with a gift card. And they will stay on the phone with people and walk them all the way through the process of going to the store, purchasing the item, peeling off the back of the gift card, and giving. And once they read that serial number off, it's gone.
Wow, I had no idea. That's just a shame that they take advantage of people, especially the one where you're saying about the social security number, because that would be so easy to do if you're having a conversation, because then you would have maybe forgotten that you already gave them the first three.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Wow, well that's great. That's crazy and scary all in the same time. So if people had questions, where would they go to learn about some of the things that you talked about?
Well, you can go to the Orange County Sheriff's Department website. There's all kinds of websites out there, but I urge them to go to the Orange County Sheriff's website. They can also call my office. I would be glad to discuss those issues. I have met with many senior communities, and I would be glad to discuss any problems they might have.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time. It was very nice to have you on, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And we'll be right back after this. Welcome back. Well, let's take a quick look at our weather one last time. It's looking warm. However, we are clearing in the skies. We have today 88-65, Thursday 87-70, Friday 88-66, and we start a cool down this weekend, yay. Saturday 83-62, and Sunday 80-63. If you want to watch our show again today, it's at 12:30 and 5. We'll see you again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Have a great day in the village. Bye-bye.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Tip, toss, take action. Don't give mosquitoes a fighting chance. Don't give mosquitoes a fighting chance.